Hi, my name is Jessica, and I help kids understand and process through things in life that are kind of tough. Things like having a loved one die. Today, we are going to do an art activity together, an art activity that I like to call My Life Tree Rings. Have you ever looked at a tree stump? Have you noticed the rings on the tree stump? You may know this, but each ring is 1 year of life for the tree. You can see how many years old the tree is by counting the number of rings. You can also learn quite a bit more about a tree just by looking at its rings. If a tree had a really tough year and didn't get everything that it needed, like the right amount of sun and water, the rings in between here are going to be smaller. They're going to be a lot thinner. If the tree had a great year and it had all the sun, all the water that it really needed to thrive and grow its best, it will have a nice thick ring in between. Now there are other things that we can tell from these rings too. Now let's say the tree had a trauma or an accident or perhaps even a lightning strike to it. We would know that by a scar on the tree. It could be a really dark line. It could be a line going through several of the rings. So we can tell that based on what that tree ring is looking like. So the tree rings right here can tell us quite a bit about the life of the tree and what has happened in the tree's life. I want you to think about your years of life. How many years, how many rings will you have on your piece of paper? Some years have a lot of growth, fun, and adventure, and they might have some wider space in between those rings. Other years may have been pretty tough. Think about the different events that you've gone through, whether those rings would be bigger with more growth or have less space in between those tough years. You can also think through what years or times would have some scars or some damage shown on those rings. So take a moment to think about that. This is a great project to do with a grown-up or family members. Working with your grown-up, we will create our own life rings on a piece of paper. You will create a ring around for each year of life, and you get to decide how you want these rings to look. You might have a little bit of space in between your rings. You might have a lot of space. You might want to do some wiggly lines. It's up to you. So maybe we want a year that didn't have a lot of growth, fun, and adventure. We would make a smaller one. Then maybe we had a year that had a ton of growth and fun and adventure and all the things that we really needed. As you guys are making your tree rings, I want you to think about what happened in that year. Maybe you learned how to talk or walk. Maybe you had a brother or sister that was born. Maybe someone special in your life died that year. Maybe you started school or had certain fears or worries that kept you up at night. This is your story, so you can decide how you want it represented. If you had a tough year, think about how your tree ring should look. How do you want to show your story? Is the line of your tree ring smooth? Is it jagged? Is it a little broken up? What colors would you like to represent these differences or struggles in those years? You get to decide. You may want to fill these rings with words, pictures, or colors. We would love to see your own unique My Life Tree rings below this video. We can't wait to see what you guys share with us.